If there's one thing that brightens my day, it's social media. Let's just say I'm a little barnyard hog who likes his feed. So you can imagine my shock when earlier this month I came across reports that my favorite social media site X, formerly known as Twitter, was caught in a scandal after accounts commanded its AI chatbot Grok to crank out naked and violent images of women and children against their will. Jeezum crow. So how did one of the biggest social media platforms in the world suddenly devolve into an enormous printer for revenge porn? Or, in other words, I'm here outside the offices of X/Twitter. It's safe to say that most of us know Twitter, the bird app that first launched in 2006 and quickly established itself as the world's virtual town square, especially if your town square is filled with attention-whoring keyboard psychopaths like Kevin Durant, every senator, Russian rage bots, and yours truly. By 2022, the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, was so addicted to the app that he bought it and gave it a techno-conservative cyber-emo glow-up, renaming it X, the Everything app. One of his first moves was to operate X with looser content moderation standards, positioning it as an oasis for free speech and wannabe edgelord humor. Some applauded the move, while others raised concerns that Elon's plans might actually open the door for hateful and perverted activity. Or at least more than what was already going on there. Now, prior to Elon's purchase, Twitter already had a long history of hosting a robust supply of porn and child abuse. I'm looking at you, Beaglefax. And it was a stated priority of Elon to rid the website of explicit content involving children on day one. According to X, the efforts began pretty well, with hundreds of thousands of accounts being deleted just in the first few weeks. But towards the end of last year, a viral trend emerged where users would find real pictures of women and children on the platform, then tell X's integrated AI chatbot Grok to make the images more sexual. To which it said, "On it, boss."
Over the past 2 weeks, you've kind of been the face of what's been happening on Grok right now.
That might be the wrong word.
You've been the... Yeah, I can leave.
Ashley St. Clair is a bit of a roller coaster media figure, rising to prominence as a conservative shitposter before more recently woken up on the lib side of the bed. She's also one of the most vocal victims of Grok's nudification frenzy, is currently suing X for it, and, it should be mentioned, has a child with Elon Musk. Folks, trying to stand out online is difficult. Take it from a guy who, for better or worse, tries to stand out online all the time. Now, it may shock you, but I'm only a man, not a company. However, I do understand that companies, they also need to stand out online. And if you're a company who needs to stand out online, then I implore you to check out Ahrefs. Ahrefs is a marketing platform that helps brands and companies become more discoverable on the internet. And when they say the internet, they do mean everywhere on the internet, not just old school search results that are quickly becoming outdated. Ahrefs helps you track exactly how you're showing up on AI chatbots and assistants and beyond. Instead of the guesswork that we all know so much of marketing is, Ahrefs gives you real data to learn actionable things about your audience and your competitors. But don't just take it from me, take it from my coworker here at Morning Brew, Sir Lance Holt, who works in content engagement and is an enormous Ahrefs fangirl.
Especially in the age of AI search, I can't recommend Ahrefs enough. Just the site audit and the technical SEO aspect of it just makes it insanely actionable. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's got to be a 15 on a recommendation.
15's more than 10, Lance. Right now, you can go to ahrefs.com/AWT and take the free version of their platform for a little test drive. But be careful, that baby's got horsepower. Ahrefs, thank you for sponsoring this video, and everyone, go give them a damn look.
I had just put my son down to sleep, and then I received a text from a friend with a Twitter link. I opened it, and Grok had undressed me, put me in a bikini from a fully clothed photo. So I immediately started talking to the robot and added him and said, "Hey, I don't consent to this. Please confirm that you're not gonna produce any more non-consensual images like this of me." And at first Grok said, "Well, you know, it's humorous. I didn't mean anything." And I said, "Well, it's not fucking funny. Please confirm that I don't consent." And Grok obliged, said nothing else would be produced. And then what preceded that was infinite photos being produced that were much more explicit. The age that I was in the photos also got younger, down to 14 years old. They took a photo of me at 14, had Grok undress me and put me in a bikini. They had then produced images of me rubbing my breasts in this, bent over like in front of my toddler's backpack with nothing covering me except floss.
You are the mother of one of Elon's children. What has the response been like from Grok, if any from Elon, since this has started to happen and you've spoken out about it?
So I am using the avenues available and the resources available to every other woman that this has happened to. I am reporting it through the platform and gauging the response time as any other individual. Some of these images are still up. Some were being removed, and then others, the ones of me underage, took the longest. They were up for, I think the longest one that I'm aware of was 36 hours.
Was Grok ever floated as a potential baby name?
I am not at liberty to discuss that.
Thank you, just had to ask that one.
But it's not just Ashley that's been targeted by Grok. Madison, aka Giggly Puff, is a Twitch streamer and software engineer who's been on Twitter for about the last decade.
A lot of people were finding old posts and trying to get Grok to undress me and things like that. I thought it had cooled down and that I could just make a very tame post just for my audience, wishing them a happy new year. But it still got flooded with AI image generations of me that were sexual, explicit. You know, there was full nudity, there were very explicit images just flooded, and there's nothing I could do to stop them. Like, I've had Grok blocked, I've opted out of it in settings, I've asked Grok explicitly not to generate images of me and said that I don't consent to these, and there's pretty much nothing you can do to stop it from happening.
By the beginning of January, Grok was printing out images like it was Employee of the Month at the horrifying porn factory. At its tamest, Grok was used to put people in bikinis, but oftentimes it went so far as to completely strip them, then add things like blood, bruises, scars, burn marks, oils, and other various fluids. Between January 5th and 6th, one estimate put Grok as spitting out 6,700 explicit images every hour.
It became a huge phenomenon on X. You had thousands and thousands of people generating thousands of images a day of various people in states of undress, looking like they've been beaten to within an inch of their life. All kinds of horrible things, including, again, photos of kids, like actual kids.
That's John Herrman, a technology reporter for New York Magazine who insisted we get a guy's perspective on the matter.
At the same time, you had people at X, including Elon Musk, but also a lot of higher-ups at the company who post publicly bragging about how much engagement they were getting. Not specifically for this, although they got close, but sort of pulling up charts and being like, wow, what an amazing time.
As John highlights, while X was hosting the Coachella of deepfake smut, engagement on the platform skyrocketed. For days, this was celebrated by senior leadership without directly addressing why it was happening. Elon even joked about the whole thing after he retweeted this post, which is completely tasteless. A real toaster's nipples are nowhere near there. But while the US government dragged their feet, other countries like India, France, the Philippines, and the UK started sounding the alarm and threatening legal action.
And why has the EU spoken out about this more than the United States? Is it because there are more women over there?
Yeah.
Eventually, the public outcry became enough that 4 days following the peak of Grok's porn spewing, X brought down the number of photos being created by limiting the image generation feature to paid subscribers only, a move that was devastating to perverts and ideal for perverts with money. By January 15th, the state of California had announced its own investigation into the company, and X decided to tighten Grok's algorithm and even block certain users from the image generation feature altogether in select areas. As it stands today, X said that Grok will largely prevent people from creating images of others in revealing clothing such as bikinis, with Elon even suggesting that Grok should have a moral constitution. Now, all of this seems like a step in the right direction. That direction, of course, being the one away from free unlimited blackmail porn. But to take a step back for a moment, perhaps you at home have been sitting and watching this program wondering to yourself, why did we all have to go through this in the first place? Well, part of it has to do with the obvious business opportunity that comes with capitalizing on horniness. It's why Green Giant Vegetables move so much product. It's also why Grok has a built-in spicy mode and waifu character that tells me I'm a big handsome man whenever I want. But I don't know, folks. Really seems like the main reason why X and Grok went goon abuser mode this past month is really just because these products are a reflection of the guy who runs the place.
How much of the current programming behind Twitter do you think stems directly from what Elon is hoping?
Oh, all of it.
All of it? Right now.
This could be stopped with a singular message to an engineer. And I've watched him bother those engineers over a lot less.
From the beginning of his ownership of Twitter, it was just purging the parts of the company that would have handled this stuff by default. You would have had people in trust and safety, which has now become sort of like a boogeyman term for people on the tech right, because it was associated with a lot of the controversies over, Twitter censorship and content moderation and stuff like that. But that's just the industry formal name for the teams that handle like truly horrible stuff. And Twitter has sort of stripped a lot of that stuff out, but also chosen to affirmatively sort of say, like, we're doing less. We're putting an AI model into the platform that has a spicy mode, and we're making this like a playful, like teen boy thing, but really what that translates to is thousands of people anonymously requesting that someone be nudified in public.
I do think it's important for people that have had this happen to them, for us to all stick together and for us to all, learn about, try to be educated about AI and realize like what dangers it can bring and to advocate for ourselves and to keep pushing back against that. Because I don't think we have to accept a world where it's just, okay, you just can never be online, you can never go outside and have a picture taken of you, or you're going to have deepfake porn. I don't think we have to accept that world, and I urge us not to take on that mentality and to realize what our rights are, what legal district we're in, what laws apply and protections apply to us there, and to take action to push back against this.
And so we find ourselves here, at the tail end of a months-long scandal that appears to have been completely avoidable had the priorities of the company not been completely taken over by a maniacal horny boy stuck inside the barrel-stomached body of a near-trillionaire. And while there has been a lot of outrage that has at least pressured X into changing some of their policies, it also seems like the world is moving on from this episode as if it wasn't completely insane.
Do you think that there will be any consequences?
I wish I could predict this well. Probably not. This is tied to the broader Elon corporate project, which, in addition to having a huge amount of power and momentum of its own, has like a moral logic of its own, which is, conveniently deployed. It is like any objection you raise to what we're doing doesn't matter in the big picture because we're building superintelligence and we're going to Mars. And we're saving 1 million lives with electric cars, and like you getting in the way of that is you're basically, the Antichrist or whatever. The question is basically, is this good or bad for Elon Musk? And the fact that I can't clearly say that building an automated like child porn generator and deploying it and celebrating it is bad for him. The fact that I can't say that's clearly bad is, I don't know, a sign of the times, or maybe I need to just sort of hang it up.
Fine, John, hang it up. But while lesser journalists like you might throw in the towel, I remain in the arena of the internet. Towel held tight, yelling into a microphone at the richest man on the globe who clearly doesn't give two shits about his robot making non-consensual porn of people. But I give a shit. It's just what us journalists do, John. Wouldn't expect you to understand. For good work, I'm Dan Toomey.